Hi, in this session we're going to cover the system configuration, which is found in Admin Dashboard and Configuration, System Settings. This is the section that controls the whole communication and system settings across the whole platform. So important to do this when you first sign up, but if anything changes, really important to come and update this as well. So this information will be populated when you sign up. Okay, we just got our test demo account here. Your website address, admin contact number, main booking telephone number. Really important to keep this information updated because it's displayed on the communications, email, booking confirmations, etc. with the customers. So your legally registered company name, which may be different from your trading as. Okay, so we need both of those, and that goes on all the communications as well, and obviously for invoicing. So staying with invoicing, we need the company registration number that appears on the invoices when you send them to customers, and your tax registration number as well. Okay, just simply enter those. Moving on to the address, obviously again included in all communications. You can just simply start to type, and it will just bring up this list for you from Google, and you just make your selection. The next system setting is to do with the communications that go from the system to your customers. This can be controlled on a customer by customer basis as well. So the default for this instance is English, but it could be Spanish or French. So the booking from email address, you can have different addresses. So the from email address goes here. We need to white label that so the system doesn't send it to somebody's spam folder. Do you want a blind copy sent to you every time you send a booking out? You may or may not, but it would look something like that with a BCC on it. Emails that go to drivers would look something like that, I assume. So Acme Taxis Dispatch. So when the drivers receive emails, they can reply to there. And for any feedback you receive, so there may be one address that you want for negative feedback, which is obviously more important than a positive feedback, which could go somewhere else. But you might want to highlight somebody in a particular department here to deal with any issues as they come in. So here we have an editor where you can, all of the emails that go out from the system, you can have your own HTML text here. You can copy and paste that in, or you can build it up using the options here. And you can also add your company logo or any images. Moving on to preferences. Okay, so current time zone is calculated by the system. So it can't be changed, but it's based on the address that was entered here. As bookings are moved around systems, they're normally done in UTC time, and as we import them into other instances, we apply this to make sure that it's local time. And that updates every day at 2 a.m. every single day for all of the instances across the platform, so that if there's any daylight saving times at any time of the year, hour forward, hours back, it's always accurate. Default currency would have been set up when you created the instance, but you can change it here. On the unallocated page in Dispatch, do you want to show, there's two times. One is the time of booking, but it should really be listed in order of dispatch time, which is the time the system determines it should be sent to a vehicle, all right? And that runs every 5 minutes to recalculate those times, looking at the next 2 hours based on dispatch time. So really important, if you're in London, for example, and you've got a pickup in Manchester, you'd want to see that at least 3 hours before the time of booking. So this should be the setting. Smart dispatch globally, do you want it on or off? If you're pre-assigning work for the next day and you've allocated all the vehicles, then you probably don't need Smart Dispatch. But if you're taking bookings on demand and you want the system to deal with the dispatching, then that would be set to yes. Flight tracking, so we track flights through flight stats from 2 hours before departure. And so we know if they're going to be cancelled, we know if they're going to run late, way in advance. And we tell you on the dispatch screen, a message pops up. We'll tell the driver if it's been allocated. We'll move the booking forward if it's coming in early, or push it back if it's coming in late. We can also tell the customer, so in the accounts communication section, in there there's an option to switch it on, so we can send a message to the customer just saying, we are aware that your flight is delayed, don't worry, the car will arrive on time. So this option here, which account do you want selected by default on the internal booking page? So that's the new reservation page here. If you take more, it's a time saver. If you take more bookings for the Bank of Ireland than you do any other of your customers, then that would be the default option. It just saves time. Calculate distance. Got to be careful here with Google. It's always set to shortest, but you can have quickest. I know certainly in places like London, where the M25 is always the quickest route, you can take a journey that would be 40 miles and it would calculate it at 56 to 60 miles because it's going out to the motorway first. So shortest is probably best. You can adjust the distance and you'll see that in the service types pricing matrix. You can play around with the distance that's been sent back by Google. And then obviously, whether it's kilometers or miles, and that was populated automatically based again on the address up here. Internal invoicing, so you can set your own invoice numbers, but you can put the default value here that you want it to start with. Okay, so that when the first invoice is generated, that would be your invoice number. And again, it can be changed as you're creating the invoice. So preferred client feedback provider. At the moment, we've got our own internal version, which is a simple email. We've integrated FIFO. There'll be more in this list over the coming days, weeks. Tech 360 in the US have got a great review tool, so that will be in the list there as well. And the final section here is the fee manager, and there's some text there for you to read. If you're going to accept rides from our demand partners, then we need to have your credit card or debit card information. This is all stored in Stripe. It's 100% secure. Nothing is stored in the iVcardo system. It's held in Stripe.com's platform, and then we get a token back from Stripe, and that's what we use to charge the card. But without this information here, you won't be able to accept any rides from demand partners. If you are receiving rides or you're sending out text messages from the system and we've debited this card, under configuration again down the bottom you can see ride bridge billing, so you'll see what the charges are, so you see the invoices there, and also for any SMS messages that were sent. So if you have had transactions on your card, the information will be stored under these two links. Thanks for watching.